The one last thing that I would like to remind you of, for maximum effect of this letter, it needs to be in the hands of the MLPA staff before Thursday. I realize that's, it's a one-day deal. But as you know, in your own circumstances, you have to prepare packages in advance for these meetings. And that's, Thursday is when they prepare the package for the, Blue Ribbon Task Force meeting of April 22nd and 23rd, which is a really super important meeting for that to be present. And I thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Supervisor
Yes.
Smith?
Yes, Mr.
comment?
Jacobs, thank you very much for your comments and your willingness to travel here today from the coast to speak with us. I was at the city council meeting in Fort Bragg last night. They approved unanimously a similar letter to ours. We've also heard from the Mendocino County Farm Bureau. We've also heard from the Recreational Fishing Alliance, all coalescing around this one option. And so as soon as the chair signs the letter, we have very efficient staff. They'll get it right off. They can fax it out today. They can send a hard copy in the mail. And I know it's important that it get to that Blue Ribbon Coalition meeting. I believe you said it was on Thursday. So we will expedite it, and they're very good at doing that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Okay, we do have a couple of proclamations. I do not want to reduce the importance of these, so let's move to item 7B. This is a proclamation recognizing April 13th through the 19th of this year as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Mendocino County, and honoring public safety dispatchers in Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. Supervisor Delwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my honor to read this proclamation. As you stated the title, whereas emergencies can occur at any time, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the first and more critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas the safety of our citizens, law enforcement officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel depend on the quality and accuracy of information gathered by public safety dispatchers. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical technicians by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas the public safety dispatchers of the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office have contributed significantly to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of persons in need of medical care. And whereas, even when faced with adverse circumstances, each dispatcher has consistently exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their duties. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Mendocino hereby proclaims April 13th through the 19th, 2008 as the National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Mendocino County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and its citizens safe. April 15th, 2008, Jim R. Wattenberger, Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor. That is a motion,
That is.
and there is a second. Any discussion to the proclamation? Hearing none, all those in favor of said proclamation say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. And if you'd make the presentation to Under Sheriff Hudson. And any words you have afterwards, Mr. Hudson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you very much for this. I'd like our two dispatch supervisors to come up here with me. Lloyd Kaiser and Greg Blake, who have been with the Sheriff's Office just a little bit less than I have. We're at about 24, 25 years. I know we do this every year, but please don't ever think that we consider this as just another resolution. We thank you wholeheartedly for this. And Mr. Chairman, as you know, our dispatchers are the lifeline between our public safety employees and the rest of the world, but they are also the essential lifeline between our public and our public safety services. our dispatchers are the first voice that people hear when they call for help. And it is through their very hard work and dedication that we get the help those people need in a timely and efficient manner. And with that, I'd like to turn over any more comments to Greg and Lori.
I'll go ahead and step up first. Been doing this job for a long time, 23 years, and there's been a lot of changes that have occurred in the last 23 years. We're moving forward, a lot of technology coming our way, on top of being dispatchers and a lot of different things. They're psychologists, they're negotiators, they're a lot of different things. They're trained in suicide prevention. Every call they take is different. But moving on, with the technology we've got moving forward, they have a lot more to do besides just being dispatchers. And they're the cutting edge. We have a lot of changes that are going to be coming, and just want to let you know that I really appreciate how hard they work. And if one of my family members were to call 911, I'm very happy with the people that we have working in there. You should also know that we took 160,000 calls in our dispatch center last year. So that gives you an idea of how busy we are. Out of those calls, I believe 19,000 of them were 911 calls. And the dispatchers answered those calls in just as quick as within 5 seconds on over 15,000 of those calls. So just want to let you know that they're all doing a really good job, and the people and the citizens of Mendocino County are lucky to have them.
I think Greg said it all. I really appreciate the acknowledgement. Thanks a lot.
Well, if I may comment, having been a dispatcher for another agency for a little under a year, the amount of stress that you folks endure on a minute-by-minute basis, not by a day or not by a week, is unbelievable. When a person calls in need, you are their contact. And not only are they expecting service, but they're pleading for service. And to hit every I and cross every T to get them that help is just extraordinary amount of stress. And I fully understand it because I've been there. One little mistake can cost somebody their life or their property in whatever situation that's being presented to you over the telephone. So it's an amount of help that your hands can't touch. It's what you do with the information you receive and pass it along so that the agencies can respond. That's the part that I truly appreciate, having sat in your seats and walked the walk. So this is a proclamation to celebrate you and all your workers for the job that you do for our county and for the citizens of our county, and I truly do appreciate it. And I'm speaking for the board as I make those comments, that without you, the very essential services wouldn't be provided to our citizens. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Jim came from Willits he's one of our newest dispatchers and techie wizard. He's a lifesaver for us.
I was going to say, when your thing wasn't working, you should call him up here.
Thank you again. Next item before us is discussion possible action, including adoption of proclamation recognizing April 20th through the 26th of this year as Safety Seat Checkup Week in Mendocino County. And I'd like to invite the representatives to receive these from CHP and from HHSA Ford as I read this proclamation myself. This is a proclamation of the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors recognizing April 20th through the 26th of this year as Safety Seat Checkup Week in Mendocino County.